What is going on, everyone? We're going to be doing a daily best bet show here, Monday through Friday. And today, with our first day of doing this show, the start of the new year, there is no way better than to kick this off covering Unrivaled Season 2. Last year had a phenomenal season, up 88 units in Unrivaled with a variety of methods, right? Doing money line spreads, totals, also tackling a lot of player props whenever we got those available, having to get a little bit creative on the prize picks and underdog side, but absolutely love betting on Unrivaled. So we're going to go through the slate real quick. It's going to be a quick 7 to 8 minute show. I'm going to break down the games, give my best bets in each, and then we're going to hop off the show. And we'll be back tomorrow as well. So kicking off, we got the Mist versus the Hive. The Mist were one of the worst teams in the league last year. They have completely retooled and completely recentered themselves around defense. You look at this 1 through 4, you got Brianna Stewart, you got Alana Smith, Alicia Gray, and Veronica Burton. 4 of the best point of attack defenders you can possibly have. And then you round that out with Enrique and Lee, right? Lee's going to give you a lot of size. Enrique can give you a scoring punch when you need it. But you also get that with Alicia and Brianna and Veronica to some degree. So I really like this Mist team. I think it's one of the better teams in the league this year. And I think defensively, they're going to be incredibly strong. They go up against the Hive. So let me pull up the Hive website so you can see their team. They kicked it off this year. They're a new team led by the former coach of the Nigerian national basketball team, Renee Wakama. She did a phenomenal job with that team if you watch the Olympics at all. But the Hive right here, they are potentially going to be a very strong team. They picked it off with Kelsey Mitchell as the number 1 pick. They then went Sanaya Citrone. They went Ezzy, and then Sanaya, Monique, and Natisha. And what I like about this team and what Renee has said she wants to do, is that she really wants to play aggressive defense, picking them up at the point of entry, switching entirely on defense, running, and she has the team to do that. She has a ton of athletes, a ton of speed. Kelsey Mitchell is my pick to potentially be MVP here, a sleeper MVP pick, of course, but someone who I really like here. I'm biased here. I love the Fever, so typically I want to lean Kelsey on this. I think the Hive can be a contender at the end of the year. I don't know if that's going to happen right now. A lot of the money is on the Mist, but I'm actually going to take the under here. And that's tough when you have some really high-level scorers here, but I think defensively we're going to see a grind-out, tough matchup. I think the Hive can be a high-scoring team, but I think this week they're going to be struggling a little bit, kind of getting their feet wet in the 3v3 format. So I'm going the under 140.5 points in this game. Next up, we got the Lunar Owls versus the Rose. And I got to be honest, this is my favorite game of the week. When you look at the Lunar Owls, the entire team was built around Fee. All right. They built the entire team around how do they support Fee. So you think about this, a lot of role players around Fee. Now, I know Skylar Diggins is not necessarily a role player. I know Marina Mabry is not a role player, but I also wouldn't call Marina Mabry a tier 1A player, right? Skylar Diggins has been and can be, but she's getting up there in age as well towards the end of her career. And I think when you look at the way this team is built, especially with Rebecca Allen and Rachel Banham, those are people who can utilize that space and get threes off, but they're not going to get as much space now with Fee not being in that lineup. Aaliyah Edwards, Temi are going to handle the big roles, but this team is just so much worse without Fee. Fee just has such a gravitational force, and they came into this game favored versus the Rose, which I loved to see. This Rose club is not necessarily my favorite, but they did win the championship last year. And I think coming into the first game of the season, you want to take that 3v3 experience. You want to take a Chelsea Gray and a Ka Copper. And I think when you get Chelsea, you get Ka, you get Azura. That is a strong team, at least opening the season out. And then also, if you look at defensively, if they are unable to stop one of those guards, right, the Marinas, the Skylers, that's where we have Lexi Hull, who can also have that 3-point shooting. So I got the Rose at plus 100 and the money line. I love that look for today. Also, check out my prop threads. I'm posting them on X. I'm posting them in my Discord, but that'll give you more information as well. But wanted to at least provide some details today. Next up, we got the Phantom versus the Breeze. And this is a fun game because I look at this really as kind of two different teams, right? Two completely different spectrums. You have kind of the veteran squad, and then you have the incredibly young squad. And I think the Breeze could be so much fun to watch this year. They used their first pick on Paige Beckers, who was phenomenal. Then they were like, you know what? Let's go get Rakia Jackson and Dominique Malunga. That is athleticism at its finest. Then they went and said, let's double down on that size and length. Let's get Cameron Brink. And then they rounded it out with a sharpshooting Kate Martin and a strong passer who can get to the basket in Ari McDonald. This team, if they can get things rolling quickly, can be incredibly difficult. There is not a ton of weaknesses here, and they match up really well against most teams, and especially this team. When you look at the way the Phantom are designed, right? They were originally designed in mind with Satu Sabali, who is not going to be in this game. And she would be the perfect person to have on that wing size, be able to take up a Rakia, to take up a Cameron Brink. But then you take away her, and you got Kiki and AB. Neither of those players are typically going to be on the perimeter. So now you have Rakia on the perimeter, right? You have a Cameron Brink on the perimeter who can shoot the three, and you have AB or Kiki, more than likely Kiki, going on the perimeter. I don't like that matchup as much. If the Phantom goes small, right, you have a Kelsey Plum, you have a Natasha Cloud, Tiffany Hayes, Rakia can get around them. Cameron Brink can get around them, right? They can back them down. So there's a big size mismatch on that wing, and I think that's really where this game is going to be won or lost. And then you look at Kelsey Plum versus a Paige Beckers. Kelsey cannot guard Paige. Paige can at least stay in front of Kelsey. Paige is a very strong defender. She doesn't get as much credit as she deserves there. So I personally took the breeze here on the money line. I believe I got it at minus 120. I think it's at minus 140 now, but I really like the breeze in this game. And then the final game we're going to jump over to is going to be the Vinyl versus the Laces. And I'll be honest, this might have been the most difficult game to cap. When you look at this, they match up pretty well. And I also don't really like the benches of either team. The Vinyl have Ryan Howard. They have De'Erica Hamby. Those are their protected picks. They also brought in Courtney Williams, a phenomenal player who's really going to thrive in this 3v3 setting. But then you look at the rest of the team. Erica Wheeler, I think, can also thrive in the 3v3 setting with her creativity. I don't really like her as the fourth pick of this draft. Then you get Ray Burrell, had a decent season last year, played under this the same coach. And then you have Brittany Griner, who can be a mismatch, but you got to really slow the game down for her because once you start moving, she's basically obsolete in this game. And they are going to go up. And one thing I want to call out, Ryan is a stud in this league because of her size, her speed, her athleticism. Hamby is the perfect kind of player here as a big who can pass, who can also get downhill, and can also operate the offense. But then you look at who they're playing, right? They're playing the Laces. And I think the Laces are going to get a lot more credit because you look at their main names. You get Jackie Young, you get Alyssa Thomas. Then they added Brittany Sykes. They added Jordan Kanda, Naz Hillman, and Maddie Segrist. I don't like the bench here as much either. Maddie Segrist is not going to win a lot of games for you. Now, you're not expecting your sixth pick to win a lot of games for you, but I just don't like, or I think choose the fifth pick. But Maddie Segrist is not really going to do it for me. Jordan Canada, I don't think fits as well on this team as people think. Jackie Young can handle the rock. Brittany Sykes can handle the rock. Alyssa Thomas is going to demand the rock, all right? Naz Hillman can shoot the threes. Jordan Canada will be fine on the second unit if Jackie and Alyssa are out. She can play with Jackie a little bit. She's not going to play as well with Alyssa, in my opinion. She needs the ball to be effective. Defensively, though, she's a liability, and that's concerning to me as well. With this game, I did take the Vinyl here. It was a tough call, but I think the continuity of Hamby and Ryan plus Courtney outweighed kind of what you can expect with Jackie and Alyssa here. I think they're strong players. They had a good team last year. They didn't play as much together though. So I really like the Vinyl here in this matchup going into this game. That's kind of what I'm going for your best bets for this week. We're going to have some player props dropping as well in the Discord as we get those released. We just got some points props. I really like Kelsey Mitchell. I really don't like Enrique, and I love Aaliyah Edwards. So check that out. I'll be back every single morning dropping other best bets. Tomorrow will probably be NBA. We'll have some NFL playoff stuff and Unrivaled as that stuff goes. So check us out. Check out the Discord as well. wap.com/parlay bets. Use code Unrivaled to get 50% off access for 1 month to all my plays. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you, and have a great day. Thanks, everyone.